Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today. I am thrilled to be able to share this information with you, and I'm keeping my group chat open the best as I can. Rebecca did have a question. Is it okay to record or record us? I don't mind if you record and use this information, but if you do use it for anyone other than yourself, please be sure you run it through a captioning service to get accurate captions. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to present online. And I'm using Google Slides because I didn't know if you knew this, but Google Slides provides captioning. And so on the slides, when you start the slides, there's the caption button, and now we will have live captioning. So if you have any problems, please let me know. I do have, oops, sorry to do that to you. I'm trying very hard to look at the chat and I can't seem to find the chat box. Okay, here we go. We got it. So thank you for joining us in Universal Design for your online courses. I'm turning on the captions. Can you let me know if you can hear me? If I can just somebody put in the chat room that you can hear me. Great, awesome, great. Okay, so my name is Jackie Lofton. I am a faculty member at Western Colorado University, and my area of research is technologies that help people with disabilities. So I've been always looking for different ways to help students learn. My master's is in special education, and I received my doctorate from Texas Tech University in instructional technology. And since then, I have been happily looking for ways that our online courses can be more inclusive for everyone. And so just to start off today, I just am so excited to celebrate National Distance Learning Week. And the USDLA would like to thank you, and TxDLA would like to thank you for also celebrating with us and talking about universal design of learning. Here's some leaderships for the USDLA. We have Janet Major, who is the president. We have Dr. Reggie Smith, who's executive director. We have Dean Hoke, who's president-elect, and Pat Casella, who is a board chair. And on this slide, you can see their different titles and their images. So the mission of USDLA is to support the development and application of distance digital learning, education, and training by uniting learners around the world. We're going to have some more dates later on in the presentation of how you can be involved. But the first thing you might want to know is become a member. And so learning, education, and training committees include corporate training, pre-K through 12, higher education, homeschooling, continuing education, military and government education and training, and telehealth. There are membership costs, and in the slide and the email that you'll be receiving after this presentation, you will have all the information here on the membership rate. You do have a discounted individual membership rate this week for National Distance Learning Week of $100. It's normally $125, so it's a bargain. Okay, I'm trying to get through these slides so we can get to our content, and here we are. So the first question I have for you is, what is your favorite way to interact with instructional material in an online course? And go ahead and type your answers in the chat button, because I love to see what you guys like to interact with, how you interact with that instructional material. Now there's 3 different ways. As you're typing up your answers, I'm going to talk about 3 major ways that I see learning management systems and online course material used in schools that I've worked with. And a lot of times it's an online course where it's fully online, synchronous. Sometimes they have videos that the students all have to come and share with, or online lectures that everybody has to watch at a certain time. Or there are asynchronous where you have like a week, like in my courses, they have a week to complete the work. So lots of video on here, discussion forums. Love these answers. You guys are doing great. So that's the first time, or the first way that an online course is presented. But sometimes there's a hybrid or a blended way to do this, or to present instructional material. And so you have some face-to-face time, And then also there are supplemental material online. So like Flip Classroom, just like, yeah, Corrine, Flip Classroom, exactly. And so you still get to see the students face to face, and they still have all these wonderful resources online. And then the third area, how learning management systems and online instructional material is used, is your class is face to face, but you use the learning management system as a supplemental. So you put articles that the students need to read, or videos you want them to watch, and that sort of thing. So great. I love the student presentation, interactive media like drawing and animation. All your answers are fabulous, fabulous. So we're going to talk about all these different things and how to make them accessible for everybody, and understanding universal design. So our agenda today is define universal design, ways to dispense knowledge, interacting with the material, and demonstrating mastery. So what is UDL and why should you use it in your online courses? So UDL is on the right here. I have an image that comes straight from cast.org, and it talks about the parts of the brain that have the recognition networks, like what are you learning? It talks about the strategic networks on how you learn, and the effective networks on why you learn. And each one of those images has the area of the brain that demonstrates it. Again, you can find this information and look at it at cast.org. It's really great, but universal design basically says that you have multiple ways to get information. It's not just reading and understanding it, because there's so many different people out there. It's pretty common knowledge. We all like to learn in different ways. We all naturally learn in different ways. And we also enjoy showing how we learned in different ways. And so that's what universal design of learning really is just providing these different varieties. And when you implement accessibility features to all these different ways, and this is what we're going to get into in a few minutes, it really makes learning more engaging and there's more learning retention. So cast.org, this slide talks about the actual definition. And so the definition reads, universal design for learning is research-based set of principles to guide the design of learning environments that are accessible and effective for all. Now endorsed by federal policy that many states and districts, UDL informs all our work in education, research, design, professional learning, workforce development, and publishing. I love this definition because it talks about how it's not just accessible to people with disabilities, but effective for all. And that's really the different mindset that as an instructor I have adopted. I want to make this great for everybody. If I have a student who's from another country and they are struggling with the English language, providing captions is um, a huge plus, because they may not be able to understand my super fast talking, but if they can play the captions, then that's great. If I also include a transcript of my video, then they can review the transcript. Or how about someone who's not so great about taking notes? So they can take that transcript and they can highlight the important things that are presented in that video. And this is just an idea of effective for all, not just people with disabilities. So 3 things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about ways to dispense knowledge. We're going to talk about interacting with the material, and we're going to talk about demonstrating mastery. So when I start to do plan a class, and when I work with people who are planning courses, I say there's 3 for each nugget of information you want them to learn. For each objective, you want to make sure that the students are doing 3 things. They're Number 1, they're getting the information, so you're dispensing it. Number 2, they're working with it, and then they need to show you that they have mastered it. So here's a list of ways to dispense knowledge. And again, you don't have to screenshot this or anything. You're going to get an email with all this information. All these, the the outline view of the PowerPoint. And so readings, reading is great. I mean, I teach college, and so my students love to read. And by reading, I always want to make sure that my Word documents are saved in an accessible format. So if I'm doing Word documents, I want to include headers. I want to use an alternative text and describe the pictures. If I have complex charts, I want to explain the reasons for those and what is listed on the charts. Sometimes people have synchronous lectures in a department in our university. They have meetings where they have synchronous lectures, and I just realized that I don't see the captions on this Google slide, and that is a terrible thing. So good thing I'm recording it, and I will get the captions for you and send out the link for that. I'm sorry, I don't know why this is not working. This has always worked for me. But as soon as you have a presentation, things are going to mess up with technology. So I apologize for that. Um, Someone send me a message if you can see the captions on your end, because I cannot see them. And usually you can just add them and they're not showing up. Okay. So, synchronous lectures, you want to make sure that you have captions for everybody. If you do record your synchronous lectures, then please be sure that you edit your captions. And yeah, I'm going to figure out how to work these captions, I guess. It's always worked for me. I'm so sorry about that. So when you edit your captions, the federal law says that captions need to be, this is for recorded lectures, captions need to be word for word and accurate, including punctuation. So there's a lot of really great uh, captioning software out there. If you have the money to pay for it, there's resources, third-party vendors like Rev and 3Play and Kaltura that will caption your videos for you. And in case you didn't know, the caption file is a whole file. So when you have a video, you have your video of actually what's happening on the screen, you have an audio file, and then you'll have a caption file. And you can just add those captions to it. Like even Facebook allows you to add a caption file to their videos now, which I think is awesome. Facebook is really doing some neat things for accessibility. So that's synchronous lectures. The other thing I always include is when you have a lecture and you have a caption file, it's really easy to add a transcript. And transcript is not enough for a video because they have to be synchronized with the video, but having that extra transcript that a student can download and make changes to and add to it, highlight it. Back when I was in school, I had to move around a lot. So I used to make outlines and then cut them up and then paste them all over the house. So I would learn things and move things around. So, okay, presentation, PowerPoints and others. I know there's PowerPoints, there's Google Slides, there's Prezi. Prezi has come a long way in creating accessible stuff. So today I learned, I guess not today, a couple weeks ago, I learned about Adobe Spark, and I haven't really dug into the accessibility features with that, but I think that it should allow you to create things that are really to allow the images to be described. So that's a big thing when you're using these presentations, is that you describe the videos. One software I really love using is Softchalk, and they are super accessible. It's great. When you do have presentations, the easiest way for people to access this information is through HTML. Now that's scary if you're an instructor like me and you don't know anything about coding, because all I know about coding is to say that the HTML creates things. And but if you can get it in HTML, that means it's going to show up on any device, because students are not just on their laptops, they're not just on their PCs, they're pulling up information and taking tests and doing coursework on their phones. And if you can take your PowerPoint and create that into some sort of HTML version, then the students are going to be able to access those documents on their phone. Easy way to do that is to kind of screencast it, and then you can do a voiceover, save it as a video, caption it, and then include the transcript, and voila, anyone can view it. It's awesome. The other thing, when you're creating voiceovers or presenting like I am here today, you want to describe what's on the screen. You should be able to listen to an instructional video and understand everything that's happening on the screen. So if you are doing a lab, like a science lab or something like that on your screen, you want to describe the meaning of what's happening. If you just have a picture of you and your face just talking away, that really doesn't have meaning unless you start demonstrating with your hands. Now, I talk with my hands, so obviously I'm not going to record that or describe what I'm doing with my hands. But the second I start talking about um, how to manipulate a clock to do something or for the time change, then as soon as I'm showing that with my hands, then I need to describe it. But if you just get in the habit of describing everything you're doing on the screen and what's happening on the screen, your audio descriptions are going to be great for everybody. Article summaries, make sure your articles that you're getting, you can select a couple of the words, because that is called, that ensures that there's optical character recognition. If you have a PDF that is just taking pictures of things, um, yeah. Thanks, Tim. Mr. Rogers was doing a good job of always talking what he was doing. Anyway, back to PDFs. So if you cannot select a couple pictures or a couple words, then a screen reader cannot read that article or that PDF. And so you want to make sure that they're not just images. I worked with an instructor once who had taken pictures of all her syllabus and all of her articles and put it on Pinterest. And whereas I love it that she was really trying to reach the masses where they were, um, images, a screen reader cannot read the text on just an image. So you want to look at that. I think we already kind of covered videos a little bit. Make sure you're describing what's happening and make sure there's accurate captions. Podcasts. Now here's a great thing. Podcasts. People love podcasts. My son listens to his videos for his course on his podcasts, or just listens to them, and he loves podcasts because when he's out running, he's a track scholarship, so he runs all the time. He can just listen to those. So, but make sure you have the transcripts. Another good thing about transcripts for videos and podcasts, if you have those transcripts, is that if your students are fighting for internet bandwidth, they can download that and at least understand the gist of what you are discussing. And if you have not used internet in the dorms lately, you might want to try that. So that's not fun. Interactive videos. I love that our school has made the decision to go to Canvas, and they have a software. I don't know if I've convinced them to buy it yet. It's called Studio, but it's not the only software that does interactive videos, but you can, in the middle of the video, ask a question, and that's super fun. I can't wait to see that happen, and I have to figure out some way to convince them to purchase that, because that would be really great to have these videos and in the middle of it have a question. Virtual tutorials. Again, you want to make sure, oh, thanks, Matt. Ed Puzzle, he says, lets you do this for free. I am so looking at that. Thank you, Matt. Virtual tutorials, they're very similar to interactive videos. Make sure they're captioned, include a transcript. With tutorials, always having a step-by-step that's in Word or like in text is always beneficial also. And then interviews, like if they're going to interview someone, and you can use interviews through online meeting software like GoToMeeting, Zoom, and all that sort of stuff. So that's all the different ways you can dispense knowledge. If you think of anything else, put them in your chat box, because I love learning from my audience members as much as I'm sure you guys just love learning from me. So now that I have given my students the material, they have their objective, what can they do now with it? So I have students write article summaries. I have them make their own videos. When I do have students make videos, I'm very conscious about the captioning, because if a student, like if you use videos that is part of your class, then you want to make sure that, and they're uploading it for the whole class to see, make sure that they are captioning them. And you can do that through YouTube. Vimeo does that. Teach not just captioning, auto captioning, but going in and editing those auto captioning. I don't know if you are an Office 365 school. We are, and we have a program called Stream, and that's what I'll be using later to upload this video, and it will do the auto captions for me, and then I can easily go in and edit those captions, and then I can share the link. It's an embed code. You can get that. So you can put it straight in your class so they don't have to go to a different website. There's no, there aren't any advertisements like YouTube and Vimeo have. So that's kind of nice. Podcasts, have your students make podcasts. Again, if they do podcasts, they need to have transcripts. An easy way to get a transcript from just an audio file is IBM Watson voice to speech. So you just upload the video and then IBM Watson transcribes it for you. Again, make sure you edit it, add the right punctuation. I will tell you, I've been using IBM Watson for probably 6 years now, and it is so much better. The great thing about IBM Watson, you know, Watson, the great computer, is the more people who use it, the smarter it gets. So I had, back in the old days, old days 5 years ago, I had a teacher who wanted his videos captioned. And so there were long videos, which I don't agree with, but you know, you do what your instructors want you to do. And so I uploaded his very highly accented videos into IBM Watson, and I kept running them through all the videos, and every video was better at identifying their different words and everything. So that was kind of cool to see IBM Watson learn from that video, those videos. So discussions are great. You can also do video discussions, and this is just discussion forums. A lot of you posted that was one of your favorite things. I like discussions too, because the people who struggle with really talking out in class, it seems like everybody has a voice in discussions, especially when you like require it. So that's always fun. Group projects. There's a lot of great collaboration tools for great projects. I have used Google, of course. I've used Office 365. Canvas has a collaborations, and you can link in Google and Office 365 with that. Some of the other collab group projects, you can use Basecamp to organize that. There was another one I learned about last week, and I can't remember it, but if you just highlight or Google group project managing software, you're going to find a lot of great different ways for people to collaborate. Quizzes, interacting with materials, quizzes, online activities. Oh, with your quizzes, you might want to consider open book at this point, because they're just interacting with the material. I always say open books, open notes is fine, not open friends. So maybe you want it to be a group quiz project, which, you know, they're just interacting with the material. The more they interact with the material in different ways, the better they're going to understand it. Publisher activities, when you are looking at publisher activities, you want to make sure that the publisher activities are accessible. And when you purchase anything, you want to be asking for a VPAT, a voluntary product accessibility template, and they will give you different things that they say whether they're accessible or not. So it's important that if you're working at a university that is public and getting financial aid, you are responsible for ensuring that the content you're purchasing is accessible. So good stuff to know. I already talked a little bit about Softchalk lessons. Create wikis. Your students can create wikis because it helps them organize and chunk their information together. They can create their own blog postings. Simulations. Again, if you're doing simulations and you're recording them, to make sure they're captioned and they're describing what's happening on the screen. Practice exercises, case studies, field work, and peer editing. So these are all different ways that students can interact with the material. I have 6 minutes left. I always run out of time. Okay, so the last way is, do the students know what you have learned? Like, this is how they show you how they have mastered that objective. So I have a big list here, and a lot of people, you know, will do 1 or 2 of these things. I think the more opportunities you give students to present their knowledge of the objective, the better. When I was teaching a class that was hybrid, so I met them face to face and then they did work online, I would give them a variety of ways to show that they have watched the videos and read the textbook and the articles. And so they got to choose whether they did an outline, they took a test, they could create a PowerPoint, and then, or write an essay. And then they had the other, like if they had a way of telling me. So I had a lady, a young woman in class. She was my girl. She was a young woman in class who was very musically inclined, and she created a little melody, and then every chapter she wrote another little verse. So that was really kind of fun. It also makes teaching more enjoyable too, because it really allows the students to just embrace their differences and their way of demonstrating their mastery. So here's the list: reports, quizzes and tests, memos. Have them make a memo. If you are teaching business class or graduate school, writing a professional memo is a skill that we should be teaching everyone. So we could do that by demonstrating mastery. Knowledge folders. So if they are an annotated bibliography, same thing, really. I love annotated bibliographies. When I'm teaching graduate school for teachers, I love having them create this because it really gets them out there and digging into the research on what is matching into their areas of research. And then they have to write a short synopsis of that bibliography. Creating websites. This is a great opportunity for you to discuss alternative text and how you have to describe images. Videos that demonstrate skill, again, demonstrate how, or tell them how they need to describe what's on the screen, and then also caption and edit those captions so that they're accurate. Essays, student presentations, term papers, infographics, diagrams, portfolio. There's so many different ways to let students show that they have learned the information. So well, I'm going to skip over here because I want to know if you have any questions about universal design and how universal design gives students lots of different ways to get the material, work with the material, and show you they have mastered it. And as you write your questions, I'm going to comment on a few things that I was asked to mention. The first thing is you can become a member of the TxDLA for $35 a year. That's like super cheap, and it's a great organization. Our next conference is in March, and it's in Fort Worth. And I don't know if you've ever come to one of our conferences, but they are super delightful and fun. There's always a theme. This year's theme is Through the Looking Glass, a Wonderland of Innovation. One of the best parts of TxDLA conference is that we have a pre-conference for accessibility, and we have a whole track on accessibility workshops. So if you know a lot about accessibility and you want to present, I believe they're taking the proposals right now, and you should come, because you can also get a digital accessibility certificate. There is a special rate with the conference, so you go to the conference and then you get the certificate also. I'm just a facilitator. I don't really know how much it is, so I apologize for that, but you can find information at txdla.org. The accessibility certificate is a 5-week course. I believe it is about 135 contact hours with the content. There are 3 tracks, so you can choose whether you want to learn accessibility as a faculty member, as an instructional designer, or as an administrator. One of the things I really love about this is that you will create things you can use. So if you are like me and you're a faculty member and you want your digital accessibility certificate because you want to provide accessible content, then, oh, I only have a minute left, then you would work on your syllabus and your course content. Okay, the next thing is USDLA. Their national conference is in Nashville, May 18th through the 21st. And then I'm super excited about this one. I hope to see you all there. December 2nd through 4th of 2020, not this year, but next year, is the International Forum for Women in E-Learning. And so, yeah, Virginia, it's back. I can't wait to be involved in it. So I'm super excited about that one. And okay, any more questions? No more questions. That's awesome. Thank you so much and for spending your first day of National Distance Learning Week with me, 30 minutes. And then please email me or anything. I'm Luft J. I think it's Luft J Luft. Oh, jluft@western.edu. Thank you guys.